Well, you can't blame him really, can you? I mean, we're talking, of course, about His Majesty the King and, well, the stresses and everything that clearly he's having to go through, all the while still battling his own personal health condition. But what's interesting is this particular interview that Prince Harry decided to give, this, spur of the moment interview, wasn't quite so spur of the moment after all. And no doubt you can understand exactly why the King has made this decision based on that. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. The very heart of Whitehall at the moment. It's a busy day, you never get to stay around for long. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, it's a good thing with this act, I should imagine. But the serious thing about London is it's always good to be on the move. And when it's summer like this, it's nice to get out and about and see other things, isn't it? You know what I mean? But if you are coming to London, I know I say this often, be very careful, be very, very sure about where you are. I've just seen a guy literally walking on the street with two phones in his back pocket, right? One in each pocket, very loose fitting. I could have easily taken those phones if I was a pickpocketer. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why these people just don't take the heed. Well, you just have to, yes, I'm glad you agree with me. We haven't had a wave, have we? Nice to have a wave. Thank you so much as ever for your time though. But here's the thing, as I say, this interview last week a bit of ago now, well, it was really sort of defining, wasn't it? Because there you had whinging Prince Harry basically saying all sorts of cruel, I felt, and nasty, unbacked up situations regarding His Majesty the King. Apparently, according to Harry, one flick of the royal finger and that could have been sorted out. And then the veiled threats, of course, about, well, I can't bring my children, it's such a shame they won't get to know their country. You didn't feel that when you were rushing off, of course, to the Freedom Flight, if you remember. They thought they were going to milk the money and everything was going to go hunky-dory. Well, sort of, how shall we put it, spur of the moment things cost around about 1.5 million to the tune of losing that security stuff. But that's really by the by. Because what's fascinating is the way that obviously Harry and Meghan truly operate behind the scenes. They clearly feel that people want to hear from them. I love the way they launch these missives that nobody's asked for. Here's a note on their website of X amount. And you think, no, nobody's interested. You are celebrities dossing down in Montecito. That's the day, you're a jam maker now, or whatever you want to call yourself. But what was fascinating, I found, with this particular interview, and once again, always at this point, apparently Meghan Markle was cited to go down for a chat with the BBC. Yeah, and the idea behind this really was the fact that obviously Harry had stated that, he didn't feel safe, she didn't feel safe, but she's actually never gone on record to say this. You will notice this. This is where it gets important. And the idea really was to flesh this out, for Meghan to say, well, here's the problems. This is my fears about coming back to the United Kingdom, that sort of stuff. And you can understand, right? Well, again, this would have added a little bit of validation to it. Maybe she could have said the reasons why. According to a well-placed source, and as ever, I have to say, allegedly, the BBC thought this was happening for sure. Now, what happened was, suddenly, there was no Meghan. Now, there was no word given as to why she suddenly had a change of heart. And when you think about it, it just makes me think time and time again, the moment there's something difficult to deliver, the moment there's something on record, then Harry has to go it alone. Now, when you think about it, he's painted as very petulant and most disrespectful to, of course, His Majesty the King. And when, as I say, you think about it, the King's going through his own health issues, you can understand the reason why he feels like that, keeping him at a distance. But moving forward, you see, Harry has yet to realise that whenever there's a bombshell, a negative, etc., suddenly Meghan's nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, when there's something light and fluffy, like his polo series that might do her some good, she's clutching by his side. He must have woken up to this now, because when we saw it in New York recently, she's turning up for the Times 100, barely acknowledged him climbing out the car. He's there simply to open the door. And he did it. But you see, behind the scenes, Harry basically still believes that he's the saviour, the knight in shining armour, and all he's doing is trying to protect his family. He may truly think that, but if Meghan felt the same, why didn't she sit beside him and support him? It's a developing story. Neil Sean, Whitehall, London.